This conference will now be recorded.
So before moving on, like on discussing on how to install Python software uh, and then moving on for the further topics in understanding Jupyter Notebook and then some basic stuff in Python, we'll quickly revise like 5 to 6 minutes. We'll revise what we have discussed. All right. So we basically started with what is Python. It's an standard Wikipedia definition, as you all can see over here. So Python is an interpreted high-level general-purpose programming language. All right. So interpreted, which is nothing but no compiler is needed. All right. I mean, no compiler in the sense, as a programmer, it's not your headache. All right. So for those who missed yesterday's session, to quickly summarize, a compiler is nothing but if you are aware of C, Java, other languages, what happens there is after writing the script or program, you need to save it manually as a programmer. You need to save it manually and then you need to compile it manually. There will be some command. All right. So again, that's not the case. What is that command? So there will be certain command you need to run it, and after compiling it, then and only you have to run the script or program in order to see the output. So total 4 steps: write the program, save the program, compile it, run it. 4 steps. But coming to Python, as a programmer, you only need to write the program and run it to see the output. That's it. 2 steps. So this process is nothing but interpreted programming language, right? It's not your headache saving the program manually, compiling it manually. It's not your headache. So Python software will internally take care of it. So this future, we are calling it as interpreted programming language. So coming to the second keyword, high level programming language. As I said, there are 3 levels: low level, medium level and high level programming languages. So C, Java, C++, Python, all these languages comes under high level programming language only. Okay, under this category only all these 4 belongs. So low level, medium level, those are really complex ones. So again, I'm not going to go there. All right. So what do you mean by high level programming language? Again, all the low level activities like memory management, security related issues in Python, everything will be taken care by the Python itself internally. That's again not your headache. What happens if memory, where are these variables are going to store, all these issues, that's not the question. That's not your problem. Python will internally take care about it. Okay. So we basically are calling them as low level activities. So the last keyword, general purpose programming language. Right. So in the name itself, you can easily say what is it. It's a general purpose. You can use it everywhere. What do you mean by everywhere? In data science, in web development, in DevOps. So there are various applications where you can use Python in. Especially nowadays, uh, if you're, I mean, in a company, in an organization, if you're working on any organization, they are expecting at least one scripting knowledge. Right? It's becoming mandatory nowadays. Back then, it used to work, but now things are not going handy. Like you must have scripting knowledge. Okay, especially in this IT field. Fine. So that's what this first slide tells about. So moving on. So Python was developed by Guido von Rossum in the year 1991. All right. He is the father of Python programming language, Guido von Rossum. So just for your information, I included this slide. So moving on. So this slide is important. So why this is important in the sense, you can see here Python with 31.2% of users. So basically this slide tells us about how much percentage of users are using Python software all around the world in the IT field. All right. So Python, it's clearly leading with almost 31.2% of users. followed by Java with 19.6 percentage, and C sharp, C++, followed by all these programming languages. So again, this is because of many reasons. All right. So that reasons also we'll talk in a moment when we discuss about futures of Python. All right. So let's move on. This slide is very simple, just tells us the percentage of users, nothing serious on this. So some popular organizations where Python is used. We'll also see the list of them. So among the list, we have Google, Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, Quora, Dropbox, Reddit, all this. So not only these organizations, there are many, like you have seen Comcast, Pinterest, Box, Dropbox, AT&T, which is an telecommunication network, eBay, all right. So Mozilla Firefox, even the newspapers and news channels also, BBC, the New York Times. So in all these companies or organizations, Python is used on daily basis. So VMware, that's very popular. All right. So now futures of Python. So as I said, futures of Python really important, especially if you're attending a job interview as a fresher. They're going to ask you this question for sure. Tell me why Python is becoming popular, or else what's the importance of Python over other languages. They're going to ask you this question, right? So the first reason, the first future is a language for the beginner, right? So it's a language for the beginner. So if you're starting your programming journey with Python, it's a language for you. You have to learn Python, because that brings me to the second future: simple language and easy to learn. Okay, when compared with other languages in the market like Java, C, C++, or any other Perl, so Python is very simple. So the syntax, as I said, just like a normal English sentence. Okay, that's how simple the syntaxes are going to be. No complex like you're going to see in other languages like curly braces, open and closing, all those stuff no need in Python. It's very simple. For example, there is a program which is of 100 lines of code in C, Java. Okay, there is a requirement. To do that requirement, you're writing 100 lines of code in C and Java. The same program, you can just complete it in just 10 to 20 lines in Python. So based on these case study, you understand how easy Python is, how simply we can clear the things in Python. All right. So that's what I mean to say. The second future, simple language, easy to learn. You can also easily learn it. All right. So third feature, a cross-platform language. You can use Python in Windows operating system, Mac OS, Linux. In any operating system, it works smoothly without any bugs and all. All right. So that feature we basically call it as a cross-platform language. So fourth feature, interpreted programming language. So this is something which we have already seen in our first slide. uh, Compilation, saving the program, line by line execution, that will be taken care by the Python software internally. As a programmer, just write it, run it, that's it. Your job is done. Only you worry about the logic, writing the logic. That's only your concern. Whatever happening in the background, Python software will take care of it. So that this future interpreted programming language. So coming to the next one, object oriented. So again, very popular term in programming world, OOPS concept, object oriented programming. All right. So also applicable in Python. So very important concept again for interview rooms. So that also we're going to talk as part of our course. We're also going to talk about it. Fine. So coming to the the sixth future, open source and free. All right. Open source, anyone can contribute. It's an open source language. Anyone can contribute to this, and it's free. No licensed version is required. Like in other tools, if you are aware of other tools like Power BI, all those, they ask for the licensed version. You need to pay certain amount as a rent. But coming to Python, no, it's a free. So there is an organization called PSF. PSF. It stands for Python Software Foundation. all right. Python Software Foundation. So that particular organization is responsible for the maintenance of the Python software, all right. So open source and free, no licensed version. So coming to the last feature, extensive library, all right. What do you mean by extensive libraries? As I said, library, in simple words, firstly you need to understand what is a library. It's nothing but uh, it's a code, some complex code, or else it's a code or script written by someone, and the same script, instead of your copy pasting from there, you can convert that into as a library, and you can use that library in your existing script. So that process, and I mean, you can do that easily in Python with the help of this library, all right. So in simple words, as I said, a library is nothing but script written by someone, and if you want to use it in your script, you have to convert it into the library and you can use it, all right. So examples: NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib, Beautiful Soup. So these are all some of the popular libraries in Python. Not only them, there are many which we'll discuss as a part of course. And extensive libraries coming to these futures, we have lot of library support in Python. So this is also one of the main reason why people are shifting from other programming languages to Python. Extensive library support. Yeah, we do have library support in C++, Java and all, but compared with Python, they're nothing. Python has thousands of libraries. So how do you think 100 lines of code can be easily written in 20 lines with the help of library support? Right? So again, moving down, we'll understand each and everything. I know for now, uh, you might be a bit confused about what is library and what's happening, but again, you are at the starting stage. When you actually get in the course, you will come to know about each and everything and you will get comfortable, right? So these are the Python futures, really important. So coming to the Python applications, as I said, web development, desktop application, mobile application. You can even develop applications, either whether it be mobile application or desktop apps. All right. So software development, education purpose, database access. So like in SQL, MongoDB, there also you can use Python. So network programming, you can develop a game. As I said, there is a library called Pygame, all right. So 3D graphics. So these are all some of the Python applications. So very simple. So coming to the job opportunities. So this is important. So after learning Python, what are the various job opportunities you can go for, all right? So my suggestion would be, as a Python developer, your first preference should be Python developer only. It's very good job. If you're really good in Python logic thinking and Python scripting, you're writing the script really well, so you can be a Python developer. So the scope in the market for Python developer is really good. If not, you can also get into various fields, like you can be a web developer. So Django is a framework which is built on top of Python. Same, the testing also you can enter into learning Selenium, which is again Python, built on top of Python. So web scraping, all right. So Beautiful Soup, the library I was using before, Beautiful Soup, that allows you to do the web scraping. So that's one job. So data analysis, okay. So as I said, in an organization there will be huge amount of data. So to handle that data, Python plays an important role. You can easily handle the data, like cleaning it and converting into certain form. All that can be done with the help of Python. All right. So computer graphics, machine learning. So data science, one of the pillar of data science, machine learning. So in data science also, Python plays very important role. Without Python, there is no data science. Yeah, you can also do with Java also, but trust me, nowadays Python is the one for data science. All right. So big data, Hadoop, you might heard about Hadoop, Internet of Things, all right. So also DevOps, which is not listed here by the way. So DevOps also very in DevOps also we use Python a lot, all right. So these are all some of the job opportunities always you can get into with your Python skills, all right. So as I said, the course content, the first phase will be the demo classes, which we are going to start. Day one is today, all right, where we are going to discuss Python software installation, and we'll talk about Jupyter Notebook, and then we'll talk about what are variables and data types. All these topics we'll talk day one, all right. So similarly, day two, strings operators, day three, control flow, day four, collections, day five, functions, and day six, Python libraries like NumPy, Pandas, some glimpse of them, not completely. Since this phase one is all about, the 6 days is all about knowing the basics of Python, we're going to keep them simple. All right, we're not going to go depth about it. When are we going to go depth? That is phase two. So this is phase two, where we're going to cover all these topics, all right, like Python strings, pattern programs, collections, regular expressions, functions, modules, packages, errors and exception handlings. So as a programmer, you should also know what are your errors and how to resolve them. So in errors and exception handling, we are going to cover it. And then we're going to talk about oops, Python files, Python login, generators, decorators, and advanced libraries also we're going to take a look into. NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, all this. All right. So this is phase one, which we are going to start from today, which has 6 classes, 6 Python basic classes. Phase two is our actual course. All right. So phase one helps you to understand the phase two properly without any uh, glitches. I mean, at any point you will not feel uncomfortable. If you have very good knowledge in Python basics, you can easily enter into this phase two, right? So other than that, every day classes will be recorded. Whatever classes, in fact, today's class is also recorded, that which will be shared with you later, and all those notes which will be written by me will also be shared. All right. So I hope I shown you this. So one of my batch. So this is how we are going to share the recorded videos via the Google Drive. All right. So you can see all these topics listed over here, right? If I go to any of the topic, for example, let me go to the OOPS concept. So total 10 classes. I mean, you can also think of 10 days of class. If I open any of the class, the first folder, you can see there will be a recorded video. There will be one snapshot, which I'm going to share if I feel important, and notes, HTML format, and IPYNB format. HTML is mobile supported format, IPNB is the system supported format, and the slide deck, the slides of the class. All right. So some slides. So this is going to be our thing. All right. So let's move on. And in today's day one class, we'll first start with Python software installation. All right. We'll discuss first this, how to download Python into your system. Obviously, it's very simple. And then we'll talk about Jupyter Notebook also. Jupyter Notebook again, what is Jupyter Notebook? It's a tool. In the tool, you can code. All right. So using Jupyter Notebook, you can code. You can write all your programs, scripts, everything. And then we'll discuss some basic stuff of Python, like Python variables, like what are Python data types. All those things we'll discuss. All right. So let's start with Python installation. So yeah, before moving into the web page, I just want you to quickly show you this. All right. Yeah. So Python IDE. Okay. So IDE stands for integrated development environment. Okay, we can basically there are IDEs, there are notebooks, there are editors, right? So in simple words, what all this, like what is IDE, what is mm, notebook, what is editor, everything is nothing but it's a platform or it's a tool to code. Okay, so let me grab a notepad over here. So I said IDE. I also mentioned about notebook. Then I have also mentioned about editor. So these are all nothing but the tools or platform where you can code. All right. So editor, if I wanna give example for editor, we have Visual Studio, again very popular. PyCharm. So coming to the notebook, Jupyter Notebook is one such example, right? So here we have Visual Studio over here. All this. So again, especially in our course, we are mainly going to work on Jupyter Notebook. All right, that's going to be our platform. So yeah, so coming to the next step, Anaconda Navigator is a desktop application. Right, Anaconda Navigator. We are gonna download Anaconda Navigator. So it's again same. It's a platform where in that particular tool or platform you can see various notebooks or editors combined. All right. So let me show you exactly the interface of it. So this is the Anaconda Navigator. All right. So here you can see Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, and then Spider. Spider is one of the editor, very popular again. So R Studio, PyCharm. All right. PyCharm is again one of the editor we have. So Visual Studio is not listed, but again we can add it over here. All right. So no need to download each and every software separately. Like if you are using Jupyter, download it separately, then PyCharm download separately, Spider download no need. So here itself you can put everything here itself. All right. All right. Let me reshare my screen. I'm actually not sharing. Yeah. Now I'm sharing Anaconda Navigator. I hope you haven't seen it before. All right. So here you can see we have Jupyter Lab, we have Jupyter Notebook, we have Spider, we have PyCharm, wherever my cursor is. All right. So PyCharm and Spider, these are the editors, and Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, these are notebooks. All right. So again, as I said before, no need to download all these tools separately. Just you can have them in one place by just downloading Anaconda Navigator. So this is the tool. All right. So let me reshare one more time. Reshare the slides. All right. Yeah. So these are the various available IDEs we have or platforms we have. So the first one is Jupyter Notebook. All right. And then we have Spider, which is an editor. So Google Colab. So Google also have a notebook called Google Colab. So it's an online thing. All right. No need to download that. I will also show you how Google Colab is going to work. And then Visual Studio, PyCharm. These again two are our editors. All right. So in order to download Anaconda Navigator, as I said, we only required to download only Anaconda Navigator. So remaining editors, no need to download them separately. Just download Anaconda Navigator. You can access all other IDEs from there itself. All right. So in order to download Anaconda Navigator, very simple. Just open any new tab and type, or else you type individual edition Anaconda download. Just open this first link which says Anaconda individual edition. right? I'm also gonna share you the link. Yeah, there should be an option. Seems like they have updated their web page. All right, download. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna share you this link. So in the chat box, I have shared you that link. If you, in case, wanna download the Anaconda Navigator, you can go through that. All right. So here you can see various option over here. We have Windows graphical installer. So for Windows operating system, this is the link you need to click on to download Anaconda Navigator. Similarly, you can also see for Mac OS there are 4 versions based on system type and all. And Linux also we have 4 versions. All right. So based on your system configuration. So again, at least in this session, we'll our concern is all about Windows. All right. I assume you also have Windows, or else if you have any other operating system like Linux and Mac OS, you can click on the respective link based on your system configuration. So I'm going to click on this, which says 64-bit graphical installer. All right. So unfortunately, Anaconda Navigator has stopped supporting 32-bit uh, system configuration. So how to know your system configuration? That also I will show you. So just come here, just point your cursor on the Windows button, right click, and just click on settings. All right. Not settings, click on system, which is the fifth option from starting, system. Right. Again, just bring your cursor here on the Windows icon and right click and just select system. That's it. And it will take you to this about page, and here you can see, right? So system type 64-bit operating system, clearly you can see. So mine, it's a 64-bit operating system. So if you're also having 32-bit, unfortunately you don't have support for it anymore. In the oldest version we used to have, but seems like they have removed it. Now we only have support for 64-bit. Just click on this, it will automatically start downloading. All right, I clicked on this, so I'm gonna cancel this out. The reason being, I have already downloaded it. All right, and after downloading, all you need to do is just click on this. All right, and the basic installation step, just most of the time you all need to do is just you need to click on next. That's it. And finally you need to click on finish. So that's it. That's how simple it is. Just go through the link, click on the required uh, link which based on your system configuration. All right, and just start downloading and install it. That's it, simple. And after downloading and installation is done, just come here, search for Anaconda Navigator. So in my case, it's already listed over here, right here. It's already listed, but in your case, it might not be listed. So you need to search for Anaconda Navigator in your search bar. All right. Let me reshare. I'm gonna share my entire screen. All right. All right. So yeah, this is where I am pointing here. You, after downloading and installation is done, just click on this search. All right, just click on this, and you can see the second option. For me, it's been listed over here since I regularly using Anaconda Navigator. That's the reason it has already listed for me. In your scenario, it might be a different. So just type for Anaconda Navigator, right? And just open it until you see Anaconda Navigator in brackets Anaconda version 3. You just click on open, and this page will be opened, right? So this page will be opened, and from here just launch Jupyter Notebook. Whenever you have opened Anaconda Navigator, it's going to take some time since it's your starting. It's going to take hardly 2 to 3 minutes of time, and then you can see this interface, and you can click on this Jupyter Notebook launch. So if I launch this, a new Jupyter notebook will be opened. There we go. So in our browser only, a new Jupyter homepage will be opened. So you can also read out here on the tab homepage. It says, so it's a Jupyter. This is how the Jupyter notebook interface is going to look like. All right. So this is not a notebook yet. This is just the interface, the home page. So in order to open a notebook, just click on new over here. You can see, just click on this drop down option. All right. So select Python 3. So under the notebook, you can see here, under the notebook, you have Python 3. Just click on that and it will open a new Jupyter notebook, a fresh page. So initially you can also see there will be a header and a toolbar. All right. So I have disabled it for my own preference, but this is the initial stage. You're going to see the heading here over here, which you can title anything. So you can say any title. So I'm keeping this as day one. All right. And you can also see the tools. We'll also talk about the tools also, what all this save, plus button, scissor button, what all this also we'll see. All right. So to quickly revise whatever we have discussed, all right, the first you need to download it. Let me go back. Yeah, I have forwarded the respective link for that. You can see these are all various options. You can click on the one under the Windows. If you click on this, immediately it will start downloading. All right. After downloading, just installation, very simple. Just keep on clicking on next and finish. That's it. Very simple. And after everything is done, just search for Anaconda Navigator down here and open it on it. Just open Anaconda Navigator, and in Anaconda Navigator, just select any one of it. All right. So again, since we are starting with Jupyter Notebook, just launch this. So that will open up a new Jupyter homepage, which would look like this. All right. So, and then if you want to open a Jupyter notebook, just click on new over here. So under the notebook, just click on Python 3. Fine. So that will open up a new Jupyter notebook. Fine. So we have various options over here, save button, plus button, the Caesar button, so run button. So run button, most of you are aware of this. This is how you're going to run your code, all right, using this run button. After the code is done, you can run like this, all right. So all other options also there. Let's also cover them as we progress. Fine. Now let's start with this. Yeah. So as usual, we'll start with Hello World program. All right. In any scripting while you're learning, so this is going to be the first step. How to print Hello World. Okay. So also we'll do one thing. Let's do something. Let's say let's print Hello World in our output console using Python, Java, and C. And let's compare how many lines of code it will take in Python and how many lines of code it will take in C and Java. All right. So let me reshare my screen. Sorry, I'm continuously doing this. Right. I'm gonna, yeah, reshare the screen. All right. Other languages versus Python, right? Or let's say Hello World program in other languages versus Python. Let's compare. So our requirement is very simple. Our requirement is very simple. We need to print, all right, in our output console, we have to print Hello World. That's it. right? So this is our requirement. Let's do this. So first we'll start with Java, right? So coming to Java, the if you're not aware of C and Java, fine, not a problem. Just for your just to show you how things work out in Java, C, and Python, I'm just doing this. All right. So we're gonna start with class. Name of the class. Let's say hello. All right. This is the name of the class, and then after writing this, opening and closing flower brackets. All right. I'm gonna do here itself. Opening and closing the flower brackets, and then we have something like public static void main, and inside we have this option string, square brackets, arcs, all this. Okay? And then again opening and closing flower brackets, and here system dot out dot println, and inside this println function we are going to print hello world, right? And after writing everything, you have to save it manually, right? You have to save it, and you have to compile it first, and finally you have to run it in order to see the output. Okay? So for a simple program, see how many lines of code we have written over here. Almost 7 lines of code for a simple hello world message, just to display this into our output console. You can see 7 lines of code, and this is the syntax you need to follow by default. This is the syntax you must follow. All right. So now let's also see for C also. So in C, first step is this mandatory shebang we have to do. Hash include stdio standard input output dot h, right? Then after that int main, and after int main we have to open and close our flower brackets yet again, and inside the flower brackets we have printf function, and inside printf we can print our message hello world, right? Semicolon, right? I forgot to put it here. Here also we need to put semicolon, all right? That's the rule. And finally you need to return something, return 0, semicolon. And same process, save it, compile it, run it. Okay, save it, compile it, run it. So for a simple thing hello world, to print this we need to follow all these steps. So in C you can see almost 6 lines of code. In Java also almost 7 lines of code for a simple requirement. Now the same thing in Python. Let's see how things work out in Python. So there is one function called print parenthesis quotes, all right, single quotes, and inside the quotes hello world, our message which has to be printed world, all right, and just run this. That's it. In our output console you can see hello world, and just one line, right? Just one line. We are only using print function directly, so there is no other syntax you need to follow, like opening flower bracket, closing, semicolon. All those mess you're not gonna see in Python. So in C and Java you have seen class hello, public static void main, strings are, so we don't know what all these are. System.out.println. So this is the mandatory syntax to do any program, and on top of it saving, compiling, running, unnecessary things. But in Python, just one liner. Even this print function is also optional. All right, simply do this inside the quotes. All right, inside the quotes hello space world, Run this now using this run button. That's it. So you can see in stands for input, out of 2, which stands for output. So 2 and 2 here represents line numbers. Okay. So that's how things work out in Python. Just one liners. You might now understood. So 100 lines of code in C, Java, C++, you can do it in 20 lines. So this is just a small example, small demo, just to show you how simple it is. All right. And on top of it, I'm not saving it, I'm not compiling it. After writing it, just run it. That's it. All the steps, saving, compiling, I haven't done. Automatically, this will be saved. Right. So you can see checkpoint created it, something you're going to get. And also you can see here at the top, last checkpoint a few seconds ago, auto saved. Clearly observe this, auto saved. Right. You can see also when you click on this, you can also see the date also. In the small box, Thursday, March 16, 2023. At this time, it has been saved. Right. So this future auto saving works in Python very well. All right. So not only in Jupyter Notebook, in any other editors, this is the case. Fine. All right. So let's move on. And now let's talk about some integers. I mean, not integers. Let's talk about data types. Right. So what all these headings, how I'm creating new cells. So don't worry, as we progress, we'll also get to know them. Okay, how to do all these things, we'll also know. Don't worry. So coming to the Python data types. So there are 4 fundamental data types in Python. Okay, so data types are also divided into 2 types. Let me also write it down for you quickly. So data types in Python is divided into 2 types. Right? The first type is fundamental data types or FDT. Second one, collection data types are collections. Okay, we can also call them as fundamental data types. Let me quickly write it down for you. Fundamental data types, and come into the CDT, collection data types. Right. So these are the 2 types of data types available in Python. All right. So in today's session, we'll focus on fundamental data types only. Like we'll get to know what are they. I'm not going to go in depth. Let's do that in next session. All right. Now let me copy this, paste it over here. So coming to fundamental data types, again in fundamental data types also there are 4 types. One is integers. The second one is floats. The third one is strings, and the last one booleans. So can someone tell me what are integers? Any guess, any idea? So from your any previous knowledge,
Numbers.
yeah, all the numbers out there comes under the category of integers, right? So for example, 98, 0, 76, 40, and all these numbers 1. So these are all examples for the integers, right? So this is nothing but integer data type, or else also in short integers. So coming to the float, can you give me examples for float? Any example?
0.1, 0.2, like float numbers.
Very good. Yes. So any number which has a decimal point, okay, any number, it might be anything. If you see a decimal point, that's it. It's a float. For example, 12.4, 0.4, and 0.56. Then we have 999.65, all this. So these are all examples for the float data type or float in simple. Now, coming to strings, can someone tell me what are strings? Any example?
Characters.
Okay, characters. So there is only one rule in string. Okay, in Python especially, there is only one rule. So forget about all other knowledge on C, Java, and all. In Python, there is only one rule you need to follow with respect to the string. Just
Enclosed with the
enclose.
double quotes.
Yeah, you're right. Just enclose them within the double quotes or single quotes. All right. So double quotes also fine, single quotes also fine, and we also have triple quotes also. Okay. So for example, double quotes, single quotes, and triple quotes also we do have. Right. Let me put them aside for now. Uh, Python. This is a string. Even a single character you can also enclose within the code, that will become a string. And can someone tell me, is this a string or not? Dollar. What do you think? Dollar, and one
Strings.
more also will do. 56. Is this a string or not? 56.
Strings.
Yes, it is a string. Even though internally we know that 56 is a number. It should be a integer, but again, what is the rule? You're enclosing within the quotes. So that's the main thing. All right. So it might be anything, any character, any number, any symbol, anything. If you are enclosing within the quotes, at the end of the day, it will become a string data type. And coming to booleans, just only two in Python. Can you name? Can you try?
True and false.
Yeah, true and false. So not a normal true and false. F and T should be capital. You can see immediately the color of the font has changed. So with normal true, you can see it's a black font. But when I change it to the capital T, the color of the font has changed to green, indication that it's a keyboard, right? So these are the only two booleans available in Python, true and false. All right. So now I'm simply saying that okay, 98.0 and 12.4, these are floats, and whatever I'm enclosing within the quotes, that will become string, and booleans true and false. T should be capital, F should be capital. I'm simply saying, then where is the practical proof? Let's also see that. And to see that, let's do this. A equal to 5, all right. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to print A, right? Remember print function, we are using print function to display something in our output console, same as the print of hello world, something like this, right? So if I do this, it's going to print 5 because I have assigned A equal to 5, where a is nothing but a variable. A is nothing but it's a variable. So variable, we haven't discussed about it. Let's also discuss it in next session. So I will do print type of A. So here type function tells us which data type, right? Okay, you have assigned a equal to 5. A is a variable and 5 is the value, a equal to 5. So what is this 5? We know that by seeing it's an integer, but where is the proof? So to know that, to show you practically, type is the function you need to use, type of a. What is the type of a? And if I run this, it will say int. Int stands for integer. All right. Similarly, let's also do for other examples also. Let's now change a with some boolean value 99.76, not boolean, float value. Run this, you can see type of a, float. Let's again change this. Let's change it to some boolean, true. Run this, you can see boolean. So bull stands for boolean. All right. If there is any mistake in the typo, I mean the spelling mistake. For example, I'm not using capital T. I'm using small t, lowercase t. Run this, you're gonna get error, right? Name error. Python will not recognize it. Only if you make t as capital, in that case only it's going to recognize. Otherwise, it's not. Right? Similarly, one more example about the strings. So it can be anything. If you're enclosing within the quotes, run this, that will become string. So let's also check out for the dollar or any random symbol. So dollar, still it's a string. Let's enclose this with a number. This is a number, 454 is a number, but still it's a string because you are enclosing that within the single quotes. You can also use double quotes also, not a problem. Let me get rid of this and replace this with the double quotes. Yeah, double quotes and some random, you can take anything. Let's take true, right? So T is capital over here. It should become boolean, no? But again, remember, we're enclosing within the quotes. Even though internally true is a boolean, since we have enclosed it within the quotes, it will become string. You can see. All right. Yeah. So there are few other topics to be discussed, like what is a variable, and one small concept I have to cover, like dynamically typed programming language. Let's continue in tomorrow's session, as I have one more session from my 8. So let's continue tomorrow, 7 to 8. All right. So in today's session, we have seen how to install and download Anaconda Navigator, which is a gateway to Jupyter Notebook. All right. And we have also seen how to create a new notebook. That's also very simple. So if you still having problem in that, just watch the recorded video, which will be shared by HR by today end of the day. All right. And also we have seen some basic interface of Jupyter Notebook. And in future, we'll discuss more about all these options like file, edit, view, insert, kernel. All this also will cover. Fine. And we have also started with Hello World program as usual. So we have also seen the comparison also with C, Java and Python, how simple Python is. Then we have also discussed about data types, fundamental data types also we have discussed. Some examples also we have seen, and we have also came across type function, which basically tells us whatever value assigned to a variable, whether it is a that data type or not, to check that which data type it is basically. All right. Yeah. So I think that's it for the day. So let's continue in tomorrow's session. All right. If you have any questions, please let me know.